ladies and gentlemen, we have brought the red out for tonight and this weekend at the Kings Speedway. 2 nights down here in California. Our 2024 season, unfortunately, is getting close to the end, so we're gonna make the most of our final weekends of racing that we got.
Your followers to know that you don't respond to Facebook ads. You still need to know if the buyer pays shipping or not. Still don't respond.
I'll respond to your comment soon. Justin Sanders wanting to know if buyer pays shipping on all the sprint car stuff that I'm selling. But yeah, we're about ready to go racing tonight. So let's head up, check out the racetrack, Kings Speedway. We're gonna have a lot of cars in the pit area, just kind of starting to fill up before the night begins. So here's a quick look at the Kings Speedway. They just got done out here with 2 water trucks. They were soaking the racing surface before cars get out in just a little bit, which is very important because it's 100 degrees today here in Hanford and it's a very dry heat. The sun's just beating down on the track and it's pulling all the moisture out of the surface. So they're really trying to make sure it's wet enough at the beginning of the night so we actually have a track later on. If it gets dry too quick, it can almost be impossible to recover, and that's when it takes rubber, that's when it's really hard on tires and it can be difficult to pass and race and put on a show. I feel like all of us racers were the first guys to jump the track prep people, and I get it. I mean, it feels like sometimes it's easy to do, but I feel like it's the hardest job in the pit area, trying to prep a racetrack for all the different divisions, all the different cars. It takes so many different recipes and there's so many factors, but hopefully these guys give us a good track tonight. Like I said, you can see that they kind of got it all tilled up. It's pretty wet, and we got about 30 cars here in the pit area with the Sprint Car Challenge Tour. So we're excited, get the red and gold 18T out on track, try to put together a really good night. Track is incredibly slimy, or soupy would be the word. Probably been a long time I feel like I've seen like top to bottom just like a nice layer of almost standing water, but not like actually like a puddle, but it's just very wet on the top, and hopefully that moisture is underneath too, but at the same time they got it so wet. Hopefully, and I told you it was important for them to have it wet, but it's wet. So anyway, we'll just kind of see what happens. We're in an early hot lap and qualifying group, so hopefully it burns in enough so it's not still slimy when we go out.
R Ryan Rocha rocking through 1 and 2. White flag waving for Tanner Holmes. He'll go 4th quick, 14.927. Ryan Rocha opening lap is 6th quick, 14.958. Tanner Holmes 14.624 on lap 2. That's 3rd quick. And Ryan Rocha 14.922. So Tanner Holmes goes 3rd quick with a 14.624. Ryan Rocha's fastest lap 14.922.
So we just got done qualifying here at Kings Speedway. We got 33.60s and we wound up 10th quick. Probably going out early wasn't the perfect spot to be, but there was guys that went out right about where we were that were still a couple tenths faster. The fastest car was actually my buddy Caleb, who I think you saw maybe last week at Silver Dollar. He went out last and ripped off like almost a 13-second lap. He was just in the low 14s, where I was like a 14.6, and some of the guys around me were like 14.3s and 14.4s. And the track was just really greasy early in the night. We wheel packed. You guys saw how much mud was on the car, and it took us 2 hot lap sessions from our group, and then everyone just making a ton of laps to burn it in hot laps, and then went out in qualifying. We're kind of experimenting tonight with a different shock package than what we normally run. Kind of here at the end of the season, we're trying to find something to make us better, make me feel better consistently, and it's just going to take time working on it. So far, I didn't feel how I was hoping, but we're going to make changes to try to get better. I'm not sure. It just feels like I get in the corner and kind of my right rear is unloaded, and I'm not able to carry enough speed stuck in the spot that I want to be. So anyway, we're going to make some changes and just try to get me to feel more comfortable. Every lap so far I made tonight, I just know that we can be better. Just kind of trying to find that, looking at some of our notes. We're not far off what we would normally do here, but like I said, we're experimenting at the same time. So we're going to be starting in a heat race here. I believe on the front row we need to win to make tonight's dash. good heat race win. We had to win that. We absolutely had to win that to, I would say, have a shot at winning tonight. That's going to put us in the dash, so we can't start worse than, I don't know, the top 6 or the top 8. Definitely betters our odds. Car felt much better. I told you guys about the different shock package that we're kind of trying, so we tuned that a little bit, but we actually changed our right rear bar. Exact same bar and everything. It almost just, we thought like, man, by what I was kind of describing and measuring some of our ride heights, and your ride height, it's a reference point. It's something to go off of, and we try to keep track of it. So it's a measurement from the ground to like the center of the torsion arm, front and back. So we were measuring, messing with the right rear, trying to get a little bit higher. What we did should have made it higher, and all of a sudden it was like 1/4 of an inch lower. So red flag went off for all of us, and we're like, well, let's put a different torsion bar in there. We did, and then everything was right back where it was supposed to be. We ran that heat race, and my car felt 10 times better. Just made more speed. When I went in, like, I felt stuck, felt like my car was driving. It was a lot more even in the back. For hot laps and qualifying, like, I just didn't feel as balanced, and felt like my car was doing all sorts of weird stuff. And when you're in that situation, it kind of feels like your head is spinning. So glad we made some adjustments that helped, but we also found that, believe we had a bad torsion bar, and now we're going to be moving into the dash. So we'll see what we draw and what we come out with, and try to make the best laps in the dash possible to make our car better for the feature, and try to claim a good starting spot. All right, so we just drew we were first guy to draw, drew the 1. That's a pretty dang good day when there's 7 other pills in there that aren't that great.
Is out. DJ Netto going to take a shot through 1 and 2. He'll drive up in front of Holmes, gets a little bit loose. Here comes the 18T down the back straightaway. Checkered flag is going to wave. Dominic Scelzi coming as well. Checkered flag, give the win to DJ Netto. Over Holmes, Scelzi, and Gordon.
All right, so we're gonna be rolling off from the front row of tonight's A main event. We ran second there in the dash, led every single lap till there was a yellow at the very end, and then lost it on the last lap restart. Not making an excuse, but I just felt like the engine felt like kind of stumbled when I went to get on the gas. So I was really trying to be smooth with it, taken off of 4, and I stumbled, and I should have played my cards different into turn 1 and 2. I kind of tried to cheat the top, hoping that just by me cheating a little bit, that would kind of spook a car from trying to slide me, but they obviously had too much of a run, and then that put me in a bad spot. I wasn't able to cross to get the lead back off of turn 2. At the same time, where I probably made a mistake, and in my head, is part of me was like, well, if I get slid here, maybe I do want to finish second. And I don't ever really try to want to race that way by any means, but I felt like maybe starting front row outside of the feature might be better, because the bottom is so slick on the starts. Like, I got lucky that I kind of nailed it there, but I felt like, I don't know, I just felt like it'd be easier for a guy on the outside to really nail the top and kind of drive around the outside of me like I was able to do in the heat race. So that's kind of how that last lap, I didn't really I probably could have put more effort into trying to get back by, but I didn't. I don't know, part of me was like, well, I think maybe starting second is going to be the ticket here, but we'll see. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're on the front row. We're in a good position. I didn't realize, but my dad did say it was a free right rear tire to win the dash, so that kind of sucks, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Hey, everything's ready to roll, and I feel good about my car. Before that, the long green flag run, I was super fast. We just got to try to get our car to take off a little bit better, and I got to be better on restarts, and if we can nail that first corner, we got the speed. I think we were about a straightaway ahead there before that came out. So starting up front, we got a great opportunity here. We need to capitalize. They're just doing a little bit of track work before we go. Top still has, decent grip, actually a little bit off the cushion, a little slicker in here, hard to tell. But that's how it feels, at least in the car. And then the bottom, that's why they're tilling it up, because there's really nothing down here. This hopefully will last a little bit, but I mean, I can't imagine, I don't know. I mean, anything's better than nothing, but the bottom has not really been great most of the night. So we'll see if this holds up, but it's just so hard. Like I said, it might be there for a minute. If a lot of guys run the top, the bottom will probably hold on a little longer, but we'll just kind of see. So far, I feel good about my race car, really just happy about it. We're not gonna make a bunch of changes, just try to set up for what we're hoping to kind of see in 25, 30 laps. Be good early, but also be good late.
Starters down to turn 4.
So it is the next day now. I've had a chance to kind of sleep on last night a little bit and gather my thoughts. Gosh, anytime you start on the front row and don't win, it's a disappointing night. That's what any dirt racer would say. We got to start second. That's where we finished in the dash, and then we actually inherited the pole because the inside car had to go to the work area. We had kind of a yellow. They single filed us out, re-crisscrossed, and I got the pole. So I was like, man, we're in a good spot. If I just get a good start, slide myself into turn one, like I'm gonna set the pace and we're gonna, you know, start this race. And that wasn't, well, that all did happen, except the car that started third stuck the bottom, and the bottom was really, really good, and that's where we ended up running the whole entire race down in 1 and 2, or at least that was the fastest lane. Left front, right on the inside berm, and it just made the entire track super dirty, so it was hard to run up here. Also, there was a massive cushion around the outside, and before the race, when I was looking at it with some drivers, like, man, if some guys try to go up here, like, it's very, very possible to, trying to think of the best word for just yard your stuff, but that's literally what it was. It was really tall, and so it just made a lot of guys migrate to the bottom, even with lap traffic, following lap cars, just until you could get by. So I was running second, then we had a restart, and starting on the inside, the leader chose the outside, and it was just so hard. I felt like I got almost the best start I could, but I still lost ground. Then I was kind of battling in third, then I fell back to fourth. A few of my laps early were just a little bit sloppy as I was kind of trying to find my lane. Immediately too, with the fuel load, I didn't feel as good as earlier in the night, and I just felt like we were a little bit on the free side, and I was having to grab too much wing too early on. So if there was any adjustments I would have made to my car, we would have just been a little tighter going into the feature. We didn't expect it to be as slick as it was, as most of the night it just had so much moisture. And like I said, not a bad result there. We ended up getting to third late, and then we lost a position, ran fourth, at one point was in fifth, but battled back. So overall, it wasn't, you know, terrible. Wasn't like we dropped way back. I just wish we would have been in more contention to win the A main event or had a better shot. You know, we're never there with the leaders, and like I said, never was really a factor in you know, crossing the checkered flag first. And I also know how I would have tried to play my cards different throughout the race to have a better shot at winning. As Bobby Allen, my car owner with Shark Racing, always said, hindsight is everything. It's so easy to look back and say things now, but in the moment, you know, you have real decision making at hand, and the race is happening just like that. But that was our top 5 run at Hanford here at the Kings Speedway for the Cotton Classic with the Sprint Car Challenge Tour. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and we are back here again tonight with the 410. So our goal is to be a few spots better. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for riding along with me for the journey. We're going to keep chasing checkered flags and try to get the 18T in victory lane. Deuces.